Oh my God, I loved this episode. I'm so excited to talk about it with all of you. And as you can see, Ollie already has his opinion on the screen. I thought it was a fantastic episode. Ollie, can you at least agree that it was a really well done episode?
It was a really well edited episode. Um, yeah, that's as much as I've got.
Whose side are you on here? Are you in my camp where you feel like this was amazing, or are you with Ollie and this was a catastrophe?
No, I'm with you, Matthew. I'm not with Ollie at all on this one.
I feel like I need to give a pre-warning. Sorry, this is all game related. Love people as humans, but I'm not enjoying gameplay on certain people.
Just before you rip them to shreds. All right, so let's get into the episode, which starts at Redemption Beach. I may slip up and accidentally call it Redemption Island. I just want to make everyone aware of that right now, but it's Redemption Beach. And let me just say up front, I'm not fully sold on how Redemption Beach, like how it came together, but I really do appreciate what it meant for the overall game. Like, I feel like so much was revealed about everyone's games. A lot was exposed too. Like, there's really no hiding where the line is for certain players. So I thought it was a really awesome reset going into, as we know from the trailer for next week, the merge. So we'll talk about that, of course. But here they're getting attacked by crabs. It looks miserable. I always do love when people show up to like an empty beach and they're like, "Is this it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's the empty beach. That's it."
Yeah, it looks horrible.
Yeah.
It did. And when it started raining, I felt really bad, actually. That looked miserable. But thankfully, it was a beautiful day the next day, and so beautiful that they were going on a little mission. They found a little treasure chest under a tree, and they discovered that there are keys in the forest. Now, I don't know if Caleb heard them mention that there were keys, but he already found one. So, what do y'all think?
I knew that he hadn't got the right key as soon as I listened to Sally and heard her say keys, plural. I knew, and I was so ready for the happiness to go on that moment. So that was fun for me.
Yeah, it was fun. I think that this was a cool little pre-challenge before the challenge. We've seen things like this a bunch of times. But we end up finding out that it is Keely who finds the correct key. And Cara, I have to know, weren't you thrilled?
No, I was not thrilled. I was really hoping that the key that Caleb found was the right key.
So you were hoping Caleb. What if Sally found it? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I would have been fine with Sally finding it too.
Anyone but Keely.
I would have loved for it to be Sally.
Just because I feel like Keely being here is something so crazy, something we didn't expect, something different that I just wanted to see what the outcome would have been,
Well, you do end up seeing what the outcome.
We do.
So there's that, but this is cute. When they kept saying maybe there's an idol in there, maybe whatever, I was like, it's an advantage in the challenge, and that's what it turns out being. I did love that Keely was like, "This told me nothing." She was like, "Okay," and that's that. But these three came from a tribe that is only three right now. And we have Richard, Mark, and Faith all sort of figuring out what they want to do moving forward, right? Last night was a bit of a shocker. They had to send three of their tribe mates to Redemption Beach. And I think this is a good time to reevaluate the game that you've been playing, which is something that I think Faith really does here, where she tries warming up to Richard a little bit more. I thought that this was the right thing for Faith to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it was the right thing for Faith to do because, again, she knows what she needed to do moving forward, so she was putting those plans into motion. So I think it was a smart move of her.
It was too late, a little too late, Where was this energy 5 days ago?
I think that's so interesting, Kara, because I agree with you. I do wonder, it seemed like, based on what Faith says later on in the episode, it seems like maybe she thought that they were closer than they actually were, or she was just saying it to try to make him believe that they were closer. Maybe it was that, but I agree
I
with you,
think it
Kara.
was that. Yeah.
Do you know who's like not a fan of Faith talking to other men? It is Mark, who is, you know, weary about what's going on, but in a very interesting way. Like it almost comes across that he's like he has like blinders on in a way, when it comes to Faith and to Keeley, especially Faith. And I just thought that was like a really interesting. We'll see it a little bit more, but as you all know, what does he find here? He finds the idol, and great. I thought this was fun.
Yeah. I was, like, happy he found it because I do feel like he is, like, gonna be less paranoid now because I feel like we've been seeing a lot of paranoid Mark.
That's
So I
the
feel
word.
like it didn't sound like a real word when I said it the second time. Um, so I feel like we're gonna see, like, better gameplay from him now that he has this little security blanket, or maybe not even better gameplay, just, like, more fun, risky gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, I was really
Yeah.
looking for him to have like a reset. Upon reflection of the last episode, I didn't like how things were heading with Mark. Ollie probably will agree with me that he still doesn't like where things are heading with Mark. But this was a promising episode when it came to Mark's redemption, right? Like season title. And I'm curious to see where it moves on from there. But Ollie, I know you're biting your tongue.
Oh, I have nothing to say on this.
What do you think?
Good for you. You're now going to get more drunk on your power. Woo.
Okay, so why do you think he's going to get more drunk on his power from having
Because
this?
he literally said that he was going to play Boulder and now get a bit drunk on power.
Did he actually say he
I
wanted
mean,
to be
he may have not said drunk on power, but he was literally there being like, "Oh, I can be bolder. I can make riskier moves." And I'm like, "Yeah, you do that with your idol that you can use for one round." Yep.
This is only a one-round idol?
No, I mean he can only use the idol once, and then after that, he's not got a safety net.
Oh,
Hey, Rizzo used it for every round, so you never know what Mark
true.
could do.
Oh God! Please let's not do
Don't
that.
remind Ollie. But let's get on to the Redemption Beach challenge, which, oh man, I love that it was raining during this. I think it added so much to the stakes. This also seemed almost impossible. Like, I love that this was so complicated. And my favorite part was the fact that their shelf in the back could also lose
Yeah.
their stack. And I thought that added such an interesting layer to the whole thing.
Yeah, but you know who was killing it from the very start? Our girl
Sally.
Sally. Our
Yeah.
girl Sally. And I loved that because everyone was like, oh, we'll vote Sally there. She's going to be an easy beat. She was the first one to know exactly what to do. And technically, even though she was a little bit slower, she never dropped from what we saw. So I give her credit for that.
Yeah, she was doing great. This challenge did look really hard, especially in the rain too. I can't even imagine. And also, Healy's advantage really was like nothing great. Like they could have, I don't know, maybe made it, I don't know.
To be
I don't know what
fair,
they could have done, but
I actually think it would have made a huge difference, because we saw how fast
well,
and slow
true
it took them we saw how slow it took
with
all of them
Sally and
to make it.
Caleb.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the advantage, had it been Sally that got the advantage, would have been a game
Yeah,
changer.
Yeah.
So
that's
That's
true.
a
That's
great
true.
point.
It
So
wasn't
I
useful to
actually agree. I
Keely,
think that the advantage was
unfortunately.
actually good. Although I will admit, Kara, before the challenge started, I was like, "That's pathetic." But
Yeah.
seeing it in action, I was like, "Oh no, that's actually huge."
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately for Ollie, and you know what? I was actually sad. I was hoping that Sally would pull through, as well, because I think I want to see that for her. Like
Mhm.
I really like Sally, and I know that her game she's made some questionable choices in the past with like maybe oversharing information, um, which is interesting. It happened like twice that they focused on her telling someone else something, a plan. But I did want a moment for her to, I don't know, like feel that victory.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not now, but thankfully there's still time.
But even the other tribe was cheering her on. I feel like she has like a really good relationship with the other tribe, which is also kind of random because how does she know them? How do they know her?
Brooke, Ben, and Blanche.
Yeah, who
Oh
was she with
yeah.
before the tribe
That's right,
swap?
that's right.
Yeah, really,
Makes
she
sense
said
now.
them.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So, Sally loses here, but she did a great job. Caleb ends up winning and gets to go back to his original tribe. And they find out that the person who won the challenge gets to go back with their tribe and not spend another night on Redemption Beach. But then the other two will go back to Redemption Beach. There will be an immunity challenge, and then those two will go to whichever tribes loses the immunity challenge tribal council and not have a vote. And that to me was a little too complicated and a little too like almost cheating in a way. It felt like a bit like forcing a circle into a square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felt like the fact that they have no vote, like I was just like, really, do we need this again? But no, you hit the nail on the head there, Matthew. It literally was trying to fit like a square into a circle. Like it was just no, not for me.
I feel like it's like so crazy that like they go to the other tribe or they go to whatever tribe loses, they have no vote and they could still be voted out. So like that's like a lot. Why not just make it that they don't get to vote because they have like everyone has to choose between the two of them?
Well, either that
Because
or
they
like, well, yeah, that or like they have like a penalty vote or something. Like just
mm,
something that they still have a chance to vote. I feel
Well,
like the no voting thing, I was
a
like,
penalty vote, wouldn't that just cancel it out anyway? Well, I guess it depends on who
oh,
they vote for, but yeah, I do like the idea. I don't like I have mixed feelings about it being a situation where it comes down to two people only that are eligible to be voted out. I some like it could
technically
either be
they're
really
voted
interesting.
out.
Well, what?
They were technically voted out like of their
Okay.
tribe.
That is how David introduced all of them at the start of the challenge. He
mm,
Yeah.
said, voted out. I did like seeing the other tribes' reactions to that. They were shaking. It was actually pretty funny. But now it is time to reevaluate because the game has changed a little bit. And before they run off, it's Mark's turn to go to Simon and say, I'll look after Richard if you look after Keely. Obviously, preparing for if the other tribe were to lose immunity and they go to tribal council with Keely and Sally. Ollie,
mm.
tell me about. Well, let me start off with this. Do you think it was smart for Mark to use that strategy from Simon and throw it right back at him?
Yes, even though it was obviously there was some slight hypocrisy in the sense of he didn't want to look after Rich because of the fact that Simon keeps trying to get him to look after Rich. Um, so the irony that he is using that strategy is funny.
Yeah, Kara, do you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, I think it was fine that he did it because Simon's been doing that whole time, and like he didn't vote out Richard. Like Richard's still there, so why not say it? I think he might have said it too soon. I feel like he should have waited till the immunity challenge, maybe, because I feel like he gave Simon a lot of time to think about it.
Maybe he like thought this was the immunity challenge. I don't know. I kind of thought the same thing. However, I actually where I think the timing was actually pretty good was the fact that everyone was going to talk about it when they got back to camp, right? So I think if Mark giving him this information or giving him that ultimatum before or that deal before allowed Simon to go back and possibly start pitching for a Sally vote if it were to come to that. He didn't do that, but I think that's where Mark was sort of thinking like, okay, he can go back and advocate for keeping Keeley.
No, but instead he decides to continue not to have a backbone and go, oh, so he wants us to look after Keeley. Well, let's weaken weaken Mark and go after Keeley, even though I've been begging him for 4 episodes to keep Rich safe.
And you know what? He did. He kept Rich safe.
But he didn't want to, though. Let's call this spade a spade. Mark did not want to keep Richard that long. The person that wanted to keep Richard was Keeley. No, he doesn't.
See, Ollie, I kind of look at this as kind of cutthroat and not something that I would necessarily expect from Simon. But I don't know. Like, to me, I was just kind of like, okay, independent thinker, you know?
Yeah, I liked it. You know, Simon just pulled off a big move. He wants another big move, and I feel like this would have been that for him. So
Simon was a part of a big move.
Yes, he was part of a big move. Part of his first big move.
But ultimately, this group is debating if they want to throw the challenge or not. And we see that Ben is having a really tough time coming to terms with that because he's such a competitor. However, this is sort of a situation where I'm like, I do think that the question about throwing a challenge should be considered, especially with how small the other tribe is. I don't blame them for bringing it up, but it is a huge risk. But we learned from Asha last time that throwing a challenge doesn't work out.
Where's my diva down?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I actually appreciate Ben being like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can do this. Because it's like, you have other people to the left of him that seem very gung-ho about it. And like, at least Ben is there like, I don't know if I can. And I feel like if they were going to throw the challenge, Ben would have sat there and been like, I'm not competing then because I can't throw it.
As soon as Ben did not volunteer to sit out of the challenge, I was like, oh, they're winning. It's like, okay, they're winning. Unless
he literally carried them.
Absolutely. Oh my God. We'll talk about that. That was incredible. But let's move on to Caleb, who is back on the beach. He is having so much fun telling his tales of being on Redemption Beach. Faith is loving it. As we know, she is hating this. And, you know,
Faith is my spirit animal.
She decides to pull Mark aside. I did love the montage of it going from day to night, and they were all still sitting in the same place.
That was funny.
That was good. And you know what? I was kind of with Faith. I was like, I need a break. So she pulls Mark aside, and they have one of the strangest conversations I've ever witnessed on Survivor. Maybe not. Maybe that's dramatic. But this was a really odd conversation. And I don't think it showed well for, well, either one of them. But in my opinion, Mark ends up redeeming this moment at the end of the episode. But, you know, Ollie will not agree with that, or might.
No, it won't.
Essentially, what I was surprised about was Faith being like, yeah, it's a matter of time before I vote you out.
Crazy.
Okay. However, and I'm going to give her a little bit of credit in the sense of, okay, you never tell someone that they're on borrowed time. I completely agree with that. She's at least been honest to Mark and been like, returnees. When you've had 26 other people, including someone he seems to be very close with, who wants to get returnees out and like keep acting like they don't. And I'm like, do you know what? I'm going to give Faith a little bit of credit in the sense of like, she's owning it. And it's like, no, one thing you can't call Faith in this moment is fake. Like, she's just been honest, even if it's brutal, even if like it's blunt. Like, she hasn't tried to hide it, unlike Caleb. Go on, disagree with me. Go on, do it.
I agree with you. I actually think that you are absolutely right. Faith to me has never come across as fake. Harsh, maybe. I think she's definitely a villain of the season. Like let's not mince words. But she is like the absolute right kind of villain for a season of Survivor. And I think very entertaining.
Yeah.
However, where I will push back a little bit, Ollie, is the fact that this sort of felt unprovoked. This sort of felt like it came out of nowhere, and she didn't necessarily need to go to the extent that she did with Mark in this moment. And I think where I was sort of like I was like, Faith, pull back a little bit, was exactly when she was like, I'm seeing your game. You're playing the exact same way that you played on your last time. So, I'm going to vote you out eventually. And I think to point out Mark's gameplay, I know she did it in a confessional. I think she did it a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
To point out Mark's gameplay and to say, essentially, I will end up using this against you at some point. I mean, that obviously will get Mark to reflect on his gameplay and maybe make different choices that she might not be expecting.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, it kind of felt like she was so confident in like her standing and where she is with the tribe that like she has the numbers. Like Mark can't do anything to get one over on her. So she's like, I could just say this. He can't do anything, was what it was kind of giving. Like she wanted to show Mark that like, I don't know, like you need me more than I need you, kind of. Like you're expendable, basically. It was just she just said too much.
Yeah, the you're expendable thing. I would agree with that. That was basically the subtext of
Mhm.
what was going on here, or kind of just like you're my supporting character
Yeah.
until the end. Um, so yeah, interesting conversation, and really does flip what happens in this episode because next morning Mark is like, all right, Caleb, it's time. We're voting out Faith. And Caleb's like, finally. It's time.
About time. Yeah.
It's time. Ollie, do you want to say what's on your mind now, or do you want to save it for the scramble?
No, the one part of this conversation that did not frustrate me, but I just was like, oh really? Was obviously reflection's fine. It was when he was sat there being like, oh, Faith like is so drunk on power when he's smashed off his face on it, needing his stomach pumped as well. And I was there like, she's not the only drunk one, mate. Like, let's not. Yeah, that was the only thing for me.
I think the only difference is that Caleb never really had power.
Oh yeah, Caleb was never smashed off his face. Don't worry.
Oh, you were talking about Mark?
Yeah, I was talking about Mark. Yeah, Mark's the one that needs the stomach pumped.
Oh my gosh. The power struggle between the three of them, Mark, Faith, and Keely, is such an interesting dynamic.
It's so interesting.
I know. And you pointed out, Cara, you've always said, this does not make sense.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, I think it all came to a head. I think that their dynamic came to a head way sooner than they thought it would need to, all because of this twist. And I think I think the twist ended up working out, despite, in my opinion, it needing a few tweaks for like
Yeah.
storytelling wise, or just like production wise. So we go to the immune. Oh no, we don't. We're going to check on our friends at Redemption Beach because Sally is a new person, and I am thrilled. I think, could this be a winner turn? I know that Sally has been quiet in the edit, but we have seen her do stuff, whether or not you agree with the moves. We have seen her edited in a positive light when we have seen her. And now we're getting this narrative all of a sudden, kind of halfway through the season, of someone rising from the ashes.
Oh, I love
would be
that.
so here for it.
Same.
I have been saying for the last couple of tribals, maybe not last tribal, but the two tribals before then, who's been getting out scot-free? Sally.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think if this had been the episode where Mark went home, I would have said slam dunk. It's her game. But now we're gonna have to see, right? Like I think there's still more to her story that I'm so excited about. But here, like I said, she's pitching to Keely, hey, you, me, Faith, we got this. Let's lock in. Let's get Mark out. You don't need him. I don't need him. It's time. And Keely's like, yeah. And then later that night, Keely goes to try to murder her. Just kidding. She doesn't. She just talks about being a criminal, turning into a criminal, and picks up the machete. And that made me so nervous.
This is a concerning scene.
The editors did such a funny job with this one, and I'll give them credit for that one. It was so funny because you're like, what's she gonna do? Oh God.
It was really good. And I almost was like, are they gonna pull like a I Know What You Did Last Summer and Sally's just gonna wake up bald or something? Like, what is she doing? But no, she ends up very smart, taking the top of the chest that was there, and she's going to use it as a fake idol. But I do wonder
if it's real.
Could it be real?
Oh
it
my
looks
God, that
like
would
the
be
other ones.
so iconic. Production rig it, make it a real idol just for jokes. I'd love that.
And also, it's not like the type of thing that you would grab to open the thing, you know? Like it was just there. So let me know in the comments. Let all of us know in the comments. Do you think that this could actually be a real idol? I think that would be so much fun. It doesn't say it in the little lower third, unfortunately. So it makes me think it's not. But maybe the editors are playing a joke on us, right? Maybe they want us to find out it's real when Keely finds out it's real. But I don't know.
That would be so good too.
It did seem quite easy to get off of that box.
I agree. All right, so let us know in the comments what you think. That would be so exciting. So she does this whole thing. Thankfully, Sally is alive and well. And we go to this challenge with the boat. This was fun. I really like this. Especially watching Ben work. I don't have the picture in here, but Ben pulling that boat with his teeth.
Yeah.
My God. That's another reason why I was like, oh, they're not throwing it.
No.
Yeah, no. That was insane. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
And I think the moments of strategy that show up here is, Simon and Mark are at the end of the course. They're both the ones holding up the baskets. Mark quickly yells over to Simon, you need to win this. You need to win this. We need to go to tribal council. Simon, as we know, is having that storyline with his tribe where they're not necessarily trusting him because those times where they want him to throw, he doesn't. Cara, you just had a big reaction.
Because why, if they're considering throwing, why do they keep putting Simon in these positions where it's up to him? Why do they do that every single time? If they want, put someone else in and then they can decide, but Simon's never going to throw. So why do you keep putting him in this spot?
At this point, and I said this to Cara before we started, at this point, when it comes to throwing challenges or just throwing anything, Simon is all bark, no bite. Like, he's never going to throw a challenge. And I feel like if he ever returns and he mentions throwing a challenge, don't believe him. Because it's not happening.
But if he wins this season, he might not have to return.
Aww.
I know, that would actually be so sad. He's so great.
He could return for Winners at War.
Yeah, Australian Survivor, Winners at War.
Australia versus the world.
Oh my gosh, Simon would be so good on Australia versus the world. But it is weird. Cameron, Jackson, one of them anyone could have been at that role if they actually wanted to throw the challenge once they saw what it was. There was a moment where I was like, maybe he's just gonna drop it. I think Mark almost did, but I think Mark didn't want it to be so obvious. But we talked about this. His tribe is like, throw it. They end up winning. But they're all so excited. I like these obligatory hands in the air shots. Great. And it's time for a scramble. So let's get into it because this is like, I love this type of scramble. There was a lot going on, but it was clear to follow. So it starts with Sally, who, gets back with Faith and is like, says the same thing she said to Keely. Hey, it's time. We could do this. Let's lock in. I'm with you. You are with me. Let's vote Mark out. And Faith is like, oh no, she learned how to play. And so she goes back to Keely and she's like, I don't like that Sally's playing now. And Keely's like, I know, it's bad, right? Like, oh, so concerning. I have so many thoughts about this.
Sorry, maybe I didn't hear them say this. Did she actually say, "Oh no, Sally is playing"?
That's what I got out of it.
Okay,
because essentially they were like, she's come back a changed person, and she's like playing. I think they actually said something along the lines of like, she is, kind of going out full force right now.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that part I understand, like going full force, but to me, like, Faith and Keely didn't want to go for Mark this round. Like, they still had their agenda for Mark. So I think they didn't necessarily go for Sally because she's finally playing. I think they were going for Sally because it's clear, like, what Sally wanted to do and what Sally wants to do moving forward they're now doing this. They're no longer align. So I understood why they wanted to go for it, in my opinion. Me on my boat on my own.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense because like Keely and Faith said that they want Mark to be the first juror. So like it's a little bit too soon for him to go at this point. But also at the end of the day, like Sally doesn't have a vote. So it doesn't really matter what she says unless she can get other people to do what Sally wants, So
well, she
Mark
seemed
probably
to think
wasn't
she
gonna.
could.
Yeah, which is interesting because they're not showing us the relationship of her and Caleb and her and Richard like at all. So I wonder why she was so confident in that.
Well, I think it does show us that when it comes time for Sally to say, hey, I've been a great loyal ally. We've, pulled off some really awesome things together. Here's my idea now. She gets turned against. And Ollie, I hear what you're saying, but honestly, Ollie, I don't think we're thinking that differently about this. I do suspect that this really showed us that Faith and Keely we're just sort of keeping Sally around to vote with them when they needed her to. And that's that. I mean, maybe it's also the situation of it where if they vote against Sally now without getting her out, what does that mean for them moving forward? But it is, from my perspective, it does seem like they want to be driving.
But I also remind us that one of the things that Faith and Keely, but more so Faith clocked, was the other tribe's reaction to Sally. And that's what she also mentions. Like, she mentions it's very clear Sally's going to have a lot more leeway with that side. And if they're looking like they're still on Mark's side, like, they're going to be targets before Sally, and Sally can easily run over to them. So I think there's also that they considered.
Which is a great thing to point out because that is so true. The other way to look at that, though, is vote out Mark now. Risky. Use Sally as the bridge. Use Sally as the way to say, like, we did this together. We got rid of Mark. We can all work together. You all love me. You're going to love them too. Like there's that direction also. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Cara, where do you fall in all this? Because obviously you heard from Ollie, you've heard from me.
I mean, with Faith and Keely, I feel like they see someone maybe gaining some traction and they're like, nope, stop. Like, we got to stop that right now, that's fine. I don't think getting Mark out here would have been bad for any of them. I think that actually would have been like a fine move for them. I don't know, but I like Sally. So like, I would like to see her, get her way at some point.
I agree.
She will when she wins the season.
Yeah.
Epic redemption story. And so we then follow Mark. through spreading his plan, which they call Operation Wave. And just so happens Richard has a hat that says wave, and it's this fun little acronym that, oh, I forgot to record what it means.
So wholesome.
Watch, adapt. I want to say vote and then endure or something.
Okay. Let us know in the
Hmm.
comments what it is, but it's something along those lines.
Yeah.
And the way that Richard and Caleb's face light up when they are told, "Hey, let's vote Faith," it's like Christmas for them. Like, they're so happy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you know what I thought was gonna happen though during this? When Caleb was like, "You stay on," um, I
Oh,
forgot who he
Allie.
said. Yeah, like, "You stay on Sally, I'm gonna vote Faith," or whatever. I thought for sure that they were gonna vote Mark out, and Caleb was just saying this to, like, throw him off or something so he could flip his vote. I was thinking something else might be happening. I don't know why.
So this is
No one
where
else?
the vote. Well, I did. It was highlighted so much that I was like, "Oh, something can go wrong here," especially because it's 4 people voting. So that is forcing a tie. And which I actually totally forgot that this happened. So when the first vote happened, I was like, "What?" I was so confused. But yeah, I'm with you. I was sort of expecting that things would go awry with this plan and kind of go somewhere else. But hey, it was fine. It was fine. But when Keely starts talking to Mark saying, so Sally said something really concerning on Redemption Beach. She like wants to go after you tonight. And Mark honestly was kind of like, duh. I don't know.
He's like, "I've been saying it."
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like I wonder if Mark was picking up on what's changed for you now. Like, you wanted to keep Sally, even though I've known she was bad news for my game. And all of a sudden, what's going on? But Ollie, you said something earlier on in the stream that has stuck with me because you were talking about how Faith has been completely upfront with Mark. And I wonder, you know, was what happens at the end of the episode, is this a sort of like a devil you know, devil you don't, where I don't know, it felt like it was like keeping Faith may have been better for his game, but we'll see.
No, I completely agree because I remember this moment where literally Faith was like, Sally came to me with this plan. I shut it down straight away. I know I wanted to go for Caleb, but I'm happy to write down Sally for you. And I thought, she's being honest. And she's showing Mark, like, look, yeah, I've said all this stuff, but I'm still wanting to work with you right now. And you've got Sally that you already know never wants to work with you.
Yeah, but, like, that's not a surprise to him, like, he knows Sally doesn't wanna work with him, and then he also knows that Faith is gonna vote him out in a few rounds, so, like
That's a good point. He knows that the end is coming with Faith.
yeah.
Which also, oh my gosh, something we didn't talk about with that scene at night between the two of them was another thing Faith said that I think was a huge mistake was when she said, "Oh, as an act of respect, each returnee has a spot on the jury, right? Like that's the right thing to do." And I don't think she was joking. Like maybe she meant for it to come out as a joke, but that was serious. And so that's true, Kara. Maybe I have it reversed because he absolutely knows Sally is against him. He might be able to win her over now that Sally has seen that Keely voted against her at this tribe and Faith, but that doesn't matter anymore. But there you go. No, lost my train of thought. So we go now to Tribal Council, which the editing of Tribal Council was another level tonight. They always say it's so important how you end an episode or end a story is what people are going to remember. And I was loving it. And I didn't know, they really played up the Mark feels the ghosts like thing, like the survivor spirits, but it started raining and the wind started picking up and it cut to Mark being like, in his thoughts. I was like, please don't tell me the weather is going to determine this vote.
They can make it rain on cue. Like, it rains at the most perfect moments every single time. It's
Agreed.
crazy.
Ollie,
Mm.
you've been
Yeah.
quiet. Tell me your thoughts.
I mean, I don't have many thoughts when it comes to like the main questions of Tribal. I do agree. I feel like the editors like were really doing a good job of like the ambience and all what's going to happen. Yeah.
We get a tie between 2 votes Sally, 2 votes Faith. So we know that Mark and Caleb voted for Faith, and then Faith and Richard voted for Sally. Oh, that's right. Keely couldn't vote. So, yeah. So they have to revote. But because Faith is involved in this, she's not allowed to vote. And wow, do we get some moments. So we get, you know what? This is so funny to me because I feel like Faith can take it. Like this is not something that I feel completely strongly about, but this was so funny. Caleb, you made me laugh so hard when you did this.
I loved it.
It was so unhinged.
It was. It was just such a good moment. He just didn't care. He's like, "You're done. It's over." And it was just so good. I know Ollie feels differently.
I'm not saying nothing. I just can't wait for his torch to be snuffed and then someone to go to him and go. And then I'll be like, there you go.
Do you think he was being more of a villain in this moment?
I feel like he was being a try-hard villain.
Oh, you think he is a wannabe villain?
I feel like if you're a villain, you don't have to sit there and do all the theatrics and say, I'm Chaos Caleb. I'm Caleb Chaos or whatever it was. Like, to me, that is overplaying it. So it's a wannabe for me.
He's just committed to the bit,
Well, can he commit to getting voted out?
Listen, I'm not completely against what you're saying because, especially the moment with Caleb showing up in Harry's clothing, right? Like I can see that was a bit of a thing, but these moments, this seems very authentic Caleb, right? Like we saw him go back to that tribe the night that they voted out Harry, and we saw like him come alive, and I don't think he was doing anything to play up for the camera. I think that was just him. And even this moment felt like it was a complete, just honest reaction from him in the moment. So I'm not mad about it. People giving themselves nicknames, I'm with you. Not a fan. But it's sort of the day and age that we're in also.
No one should ever give themselves a nickname.
It happens all the time, though.
I know. And I'm just like, no, don't give yourself a nickname. Like, other people bestow it upon you.
R-I-Z-G-O-D.
Never.
So, Survivor 50 reference. If you're not watching it, we're also covering that season as well. So, we end up going back to the vote, and it's Faith. 3 votes on Faith. Oh my God. I can't, this was so amazing to me. Diva down, Ollie, we know. Diva down. I think the fact that we feel so strongly about this, whether you were rooting against Faith, whether you were rooting for Faith, I think that just solidifies that she was an amazing character this season. But also, I like it when strong players and strong people in the edit don't make it all the way, because otherwise it's just predictable. So
Yeah.
I was not expecting this going into this episode. Also, I think because there was the distraction of like Caleb, Keely, and Sally, we all thought that one of them would go home because of Redemption Beach.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah,
Yeah.
this was a really great episode, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think
that part was like where it. Sorry, Cara. No, that part where it's like we just assumed it was going to be one of 3 people and it wasn't. Like that is good because it does keep us on our toes, and I do appreciate that. So like, well done to Survivor AU for keeping us on our toes on that regard.
yeah, I think that made it even more exciting. And also, did you see when Faith turned to Keely and was like, "Did you do this?"
We could use this picture as a thing, but yeah, she did, which was weird to me
Crazy.
when the vote was being read because she turned to Keely first, and I was like, huh? For 2 reasons. I was like, 1, Keely doesn't have a vote, and 2, are you sure it wouldn't be Mark?
Like, why would Keely do
Keely first?
No, you know what? She was so sure, like, Mark was not part of it.
You think?
Yeah. For her to say, "You should have voted me."
Oh, that's right. I forgot that is what she said in this moment. I thought this was just a normal
Like,
congratulations.
she was so sure that, like, he had no part in voting her out, but Mark's like, "I did that."
Yeah, we saw Mark's smug little face here going, "Yeah, I did that." Which I mean, granted, great move on his part strategically. Do I think it was the best move for him socially? No, I think he's gonna have a little bit of an uphill battle with this one.
How come? Why do you think so?
Well, because I think Keely's gonna be out for revenge. You're gonna have Sally don't want to work with him. Sally's gonna run to the other tribe and be like, play with me. I will vote out Mark if you want. Like, I'm with you lot. They never gave me a chance. Even slightly Caleb. Like, I do feel like Caleb's going to have some loyalty to Mark, but Caleb's going to want it. Like, as I stated previously, Caleb wants to go for returnees. So he's going to want to go for Mark. And if round 1 of merge, they all go, we'll want to get Mark, he's going to go, yeah, go for it. And then Richard's going to go to his bestie, Simon. So it's like, Mark will be sitting alone in the VIP.
No, he'll play his idol.
And then he'll go out the next round.
He'll just find another idol. I don't know.
I am with you about Caleb. I do wonder how much time Caleb and Mark have left together, because Caleb also, in the last episode, was like, I'm tired of being dictated on who to vote for. So it's only a matter of time. I wonder if Sally and Caleb can make something happen together, because they're both in a very similar. They've both been put into a very similar position and are trying to like break out of just being the number, you know?
Yeah.
I think Sally's going to have an easier time.
Of course.
Yeah, because Caleb already has some ops on the other tribe. So I'm kind of worried for him going into. I'm a little bit more worried for him than I am for Mark going into merge.
But you're also right in that Keely's going to want some revenge. Yeah. We said this before recording, but Keely knows that she can't trust Caleb and Mark anymore. Ollie, yes.
Do you know who else is going to probably be against Mark? Faith's bestie, Ben. That relationship that we have no idea about.
And we'll never know.
We'll never know.
Man, they also really had us with that. That's another reason why I think he got rid of her here too. I think he was thinking of that as well. Maybe he feels like he can deal with Ben, but didn't want to risk having both of them working together. But yeah, they had me fooled with that as well, because I thought we were going to at least see Faith and Ben link up for something.
Well, maybe we get to merge, and what happens is Ben sees what has happened, and then it's a whole revenge tour on Mark, and Ben's the reason Mark goes home. Sorted it out. You're all welcome.
I don't know. I kind of feel like Mark's gonna be like okay for a little bit. I don't think he's gonna be like first, like next out.
I also kind of feel like Mark's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just. What's the word? I can't think of the word. I'm just trying to put it into existence.
Oh, you're trying to will it?
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
Manifest. That's the word you're
That's
looking
the one. Mark, love you really.
Listen, you know what, Ollie? I hope that you get that moment to laugh right at me and Cara. You know, if something happens next week, but we shall see. So
But
obviously,
you know what? Ollie's just so sad because he just lost another person from his draft, where
that's
Matthews is still
true.
basically intact.
Yeah, but Matthew's got that one on his draft that has he got a good draft?
That
Who?
one?
Mark.
Oh.
Sorry, again, being petty. I do apologize. Love you really, Mark. Don't hate on me.
Yeah, it's a
Dang,
good draft pick.
So this is a D. This is a D minus.
Give this an
Yeah.
F.
Look, we
Not
see
good.
one eye. You know, with cats, we did not see any face. So that's like to me is rock bottom. This we see an eye.
Then.
And she's blurry. Like David's hand is more clear than her face is.
Yes, the focus is I kind of understand because the focus is on the torch, you know, like that's the moment, but
Yeah.
the angle is all wrong.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to point out that in her end credits, that she didn't even mention Keely. She was so focused on just talking about Mark, which I thought was so interesting.
I do know that a lot ends up on the cutting room floor when it comes to those, so I am sure she spoke about Keely at some point. I can't imagine that she didn't, but based on, I think that's a good thing to flag, Cara, based on narrative and storytelling, it's definitely how Faith's story with Mark played out that they really wanted to focus on.
Yeah. I don't know. Could mean good things for Mark.
Listen, I thought that Faith was a really great addition to this cast. Like, she's the type of person where I'm like, how have we not had her on a season before? But I'm so glad that we had her now because I thought she was so enjoyable, so like deliciously villainous, and it was great. This is like my favorite type of survivor villain, and I also thought she was like good at the game.
Yeah.
Do I think that she tripped up at the end, especially? I do. I think that she got a little too comfortable with how she spoke to certain people. I'm not even going to just mention Mark. I don't think if she made it to merge, she would have lasted very much longer because I think she rubbed the other tribe the wrong way at that double tribal thing. But again, so grateful for the time we had on our screen, and she went out in a very cool way. So.
She did. I am sad that we're not going to get to see her in merge and see how she would have done in that because she really is such an interesting player where I feel like we don't see players like Faith that often. So it was very fun getting to see her play and she was good. So it is sad. But you know what? This is going to be shocking, but I'm kind of excited to see what Keely does now.
Me too.
I can't wait to see what she does next. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've obviously I love Faith. She's on my draft. Got to root for her. And I mean, I feel like she like proved herself so much. I mean, she won individual immunity. She was a rock in that challenge. Like, I think had she made merge, she would have been a physical threat. Like you said, Matthew, a delicious villain. You all know I love a villainous queen, so that's why I was rooting for her down. And yeah, I just love the fact we got so much of her. I mean, maybe we could see her again. Who knows? But I feel like we saw a lot of Faith, and I feel like she should be proud of her game, regardless of the slip ups. They happen.
Yeah, she's definitely top candidate for a returnee season at
She's
some
at the top
point.
though.
What?
You know what?
She's at the top though.
Yeah, you know what? I think if I'm planning my returning cast from this season, it would be Faith, Asha, and Dawn. I think Dawn's story, his narrative got cut a little short from like, you know, it didn't have a good ending. So I want to see it.
What about Tez?
Oh.
Team Tez.
Cool idea.
Put him in.
I'm similar to you, Matthew, but I do agree with Don, but I would swap Don out for Eliza.
Oh.
I would love to see Eliza come back.
Why not just throw Eliza in there?
Okay, I can throw Eliza in there.
Yeah, we'll have 4 people.
Yeah, my draft plus Eliza.
Wait, there was one more thing I wanted to mention. But I can't remember it now. Oh, I
On
can't remember what it
that
was.
note, Merge is next week. I'm so excited to see two tribes become one. We got a little sneak peek of the buff, but this should be a really interesting merge. I'm excited to see where everyone lands, right? Like, this is the time where we got to get through one tribal council to really know, like where the direction of the rest of the season is going to go. And that's a very exciting place to be.
Yeah, definitely. Also, are those buffs black? I
think
can't
so.
tell.
With like blue accents. Like
I
teal.
love it when they do a black buff. It just looks so nice.
This is gonna be fun.
Cara, I'm gonna give you one more shot. Do you know what you wanted to add or say?
No, I literally can't remember. But you know what? I know it was something good too.
Well, feel free to mention it next time when we do another recap episode of Australian Survivor Redemption. If you want to hear Cara's thoughts,
I remember it. No, it's just gonna sound so silly. But you know what it was? The second that Faith brought up Valeria and Viola, look what happens. Mark sensed it and she's out of here.
Do you remember what I said last episode?
So true, Cara. Great. And
that was important to add in.
Yeah.
That was.
It's actually, honestly, we saw the wind and the weather happen.
See?
So
that was Valeria Viola.
But we will be here next week to cover another few episodes of Australian Survivor Redemption. As a reminder, we also do exit interviews. So if you are interested in seeing those, make sure you subscribe to be notified when we upload them. We usually get to upload them, like I would say, 12 hours after the episode airs. So just keep an eye out because they're always a lot of fun. With that, we will see you back here, except I'm also forgetting Ollie's favorite part of the episode, player of the episode.
Thank you. I think me and Cara were like, no.
I saw the private chat just going.
I was going to at you as well. Yeah, player of the episode. I've got mine, so I can go first. I know it's not going to be either of your two ones, but maybe. I'm going with Sally. Just because she's had a lovely redemption arc. She made fire. We see in her backstory. And she pushed Mark's name, and Mark still didn't want to vote her out. So I'm like, do you know what? Go off, Sally. And she looked killer in the challenge.
If you don't know Cara, I can go next.
Yeah, you can go.
I think Sally's a great one, especially for those reasons. To me, she still needs one more thing to really solidify that for me, because I like where she's headed, but I don't think she's quite had that redemption yet from how she played before, but she is well on her way to making that happen. So I'm hoping. I really want Sally to go far. I'm such a big fan of hers, even in the short amount that we've seen from her. My player of the episode, I'm going to give it to Mark. I think that he would never get player of the episode from me if he didn't take Keely or Faith out before merge. And I'm agreeing with Cara that I don't think that the relationship that they had, the alliance that they all had together, was really benefiting him anymore, especially at this point. And for them, I understand wanting to take him to merge and chopping him there. But I felt that he did a really good job at blindsiding his ally, to the point where you reminded me she didn't even think that he was the one to do it. And I thought it was good. I thought he needed to get rid of her, or needed to get rid of one of them, and that's what he ended up doing.
Yeah, Ruby Soho, RIP. But I agree. I think Sally is a good pick. Like Sally a lot. But I do have to agree with Matthew and go with Mark here, because he also found an idol. Like, this is a good episode for him. He finally woke up. He knew what he had to do. and he got Faith out. Someone who literally told him that she was going to vote him out.
I love the fact both of you were there, like trying to like cushion the blow when I knew you were both gonna say Mark.
No, but like Sally is a good one, but like it's Mark.
Yeah, I'm not going to stand my ground with Sally. I think she was right up there with me too. But again, I think there's more from her that we're going to see. I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, am I allowed to end the episode?
Yes.
Okay, everyone, that does it for our recap of episode 12 of Australian Survivor Redemption. All the things I said before still apply. Make sure you subscribe to see more of our coverage, and we will see you next time for episode 13.